We are finally here. I'm finally going to give my actual pay-per-view review of Wrestlemania and a few other notes and things and a rant or two. I got sick, really sick. That's why this is so late. But anyways, let me bring this up. Well, not bring it up, but let me talk about this. When we were at Wrestlemania, we were in Atlanta, the topic, oddly enough, of Larry Sweeney came up throughout the whole Pro weekend. Me, myself, Instant Classic, another friend of ours, Brian, and some other guys. We talked a lot about Larry Sweeney while we were there, so it was very odd, or fortuitous, or whatever, that he passed away after we had been talking about him the weekend before, literally pretty much the weekend before, I guess. It's kind of sad. I could come on here and talk about my thoughts about Larry Sweeney, but I really wouldn't do it any justice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a link to an interview that Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer did with Chris Hero talking about Larry Sweeney, which was, I think probably do a much better job of talking about Larry Sweeney than I ever could. So I'll just say that, and I'll say that, this was a guy that I definitely thought, one of the reasons why we brought him up was because it was kind of like, what's he doing now? It's too bad he's not in WWE, because the guy definitely deserves to be there. There's so many guys that he could put over. It's really kind of a microcosm onto the fact that we don't have managers today in either TNA or WWE, and it's kind of sad because you've always had guys who can go in the ring or are presences in the ring that aren't necessarily great on the mic and need that extra something. And it's a valet doesn't necessarily do that. You have very few women who can fill that role as part of a Miss Elizabeth type. That's kind of I'm not gonna say she was a one-trick pony, but you can only do that so many times. You also need the guy out there to the Bobby Heenan, or you need the face manager. You need something else for some guys, and not having that, I think, really hurts pro wrestling in a long way. So there's kind of my thoughts on Larry Sweeney as there we go, as far as that. So, but anyways, then of course we had WrestleMania, which is also another odd thing to talk about, given that the opener for WrestleMania, Edge versus Alberto Del Rio, looks to be Edge's last televised, for the foreseeable future at least, match, as he retired. Apparently has a bad neck injury, can't feel his arms and his hands, so basically walked away, which is kind of quick, kind of leaves the WWE in a bad spot, but we've talked about this 100 times before. They haven't really elevated any new stars, and every time they try to elevate someone, they knock their feet from under them, and so every time they try to elevate someone, no one pays attention, because they're like, oh, look, they're giving this guy a push again. Too bad it won't go anywhere, because you've trained the fans to be that way. And, you have a lot of guys that have left the WWE. You have guys who, are still in the WWE that are probably so damaged that they're never going to be over as much as they could, because you've been trained within the fan base that that you don't have these guys. And so it's going to be hard to replace him, without a doubt. So I got to see his, for the foreseeable future, his last match live, which is kind of a cool experience. And I've never been as big of an Edge fan as a lot of people are. Not to say he wasn't great, because he was, but I've never been, as big of a fan of his as other people have, so I'm not going to go on a big tirade. I very seldom do when people retire or pass away, so, that would be kind of disingenuous of me to do that here. But his last match opened up WrestleMania, of course. Well, actually, I should say this. What opened up WrestleMania was The Rock's promo, which I did think was a good way to open up WrestleMania, even though it did make WrestleMania feel kind of like a lot of people have said, a 4-hour Raw. But you have to remember that, often WrestleMania is not for us, and it's something to remember, particularly when we get to the main event. But it's not for us. It's for more it's definitely more for the casual fans, and this was definitely more. People bought this show hopefully, we don't know what the numbers are, but people hopefully bought the show to see The Rock. And so if you don't show them The Rock, it's going to kind of hurt. But anyway, so we open up with that, and this was the first match. Del Rio came out, I guess this was a Rolls Royce, if I remember right. And then Edge came out with Christian. They had a match. It was good. Nothing blow away. Not as good as anyone thought it should be. Definitely, I don't agree with this opening the show, though, because, you know, you basically told everyone that Alberto Del Rio doesn't mean anything. You've told people for years that, you know, at least the winner of the Royal Rumble would at least be, you know, last 4 matches of WrestleMania, and it opened the show. That's a bad message to send. I don't know whose idea that was. I don't know if they just threw this match out here because it was going to be long, and they already knew they were going to go long, which is another issue with the show. But anyways, that's what we got. It was a good match. That was about all I could say about it. They definitely have had better matches. Christian and Del Rio have had better matches on TV, so that made this very lackluster, in my opinion. And of course, then we had Christian. We thought Christian was going to turn on Edge, but isn't what happened. Instead, what we had happen was they just tore Del Rio's car apart, which was a waste of time, in my opinion. So there was that. And then we had Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio. Again, this was another good match. I wouldn't say it was great. I wouldn't say it was very good. I would just say it was a good match. I think it was a little better than the opener. You know, the kind of the story behind this was, or not kind of, but the story behind it was, you know, Mysterio going for Cody's mask, and then Cody going for Mysterio's leg brace. Of course, that's kind of weird because probably the best spot in this whole match, and maybe one of the best spots of the whole night, to be honest. Outside of kind of the stuff that Undertaker and Triple H did, you had Cody Rhodes do a standing, delayed vertical suplex for a long time in the corner, which was kind of a cool spot in my opinion. So there was that. This match went kind of long. I mean, all these matches got time, but they just, I don't know, they never went into like the next gear. So there was that. Then, I guess at some point during this is when we got some of the video packages. There were far too many video packages. Far too many, like, who cares video packages. I mean, you already took one match off the show, and then you continually added and you knew you were going to be short for time, apparently, and so, but you didn't get rid of, like the For the Troops package. Yes, that's a cool package, but it's a package that we've seen before, and it's a package you can put on the Raw after WrestleMania. All the stuff, all of the art fair thing for WrestleMania. If you've done that on the Raw after WrestleMania, the Atlanta, them being at the Georgia Senate, that could have been, all of those things could have been on here. I guess the first kind of video package we got, though, was the Snoop Dogg looking for, I guess, someone to go on the road with him. So we had numerous guys kind of audition. And this wasn't bad, and I understand why. And of all the packages that were on here, this is probably the one that I think should have been on here, minus one part of another one. Because it was kind of the end, I guess, of the whole Hornswoggle Can't Talk, and of course he did the rap. I'm sure a lot of people hated this, but I can at least understand why you would say, hey, we've invested time into this. This is part of the storyline. We'll stick it on here. That I can get, but anyways. And then of course we got the Rock promo backstage with I can't think of her name, which of course we got with him and Mae Young, which I didn't like that. I'm sure some people probably thought it was funny. I didn't like it. I thought they should have just, cut that part out and just done him and Steve Austin. I completely understand. You have to do that moment. Them kind of having the face-off at WrestleMania. I completely get that. I understand, but you didn't need to do the Mae Young stuff. That was not cool. Anyways, on to actual wrestling stuff. Then we had Big Show Kane, Kofi Kingston, Santino Marella taking on the Corre. This got no time, which was good, because basically the only reason this match was on here was so Santino could do the Cobra, which he did. Did the Cobra right into Big Show's fist, and then that was it. That was the match. So at least everyone got to see the Cobra. That was the whole idea about this. This was another place where they could have just gotten rid of time, because we didn't even see the fact that Kofi was going to be added to this match because of what happened to Kozlov. So we didn't have time for that. So why didn't you just show that and just have Big Show, Kane, Kofi, and Santino all come out, or Big Show, Kane, and Santino all come out once, and then have Kofi have his own entrance, and then the core, and then do this 2-second match. That's what you should have done. But anyways, oh well. Then we had Randy Orton versus CM Punk. Another good match. Not as good as it could have been. Definitely, just, probably needed to go a little bit longer to really be great. It was very prodding. Randy Orton was selling the leg. Basically, we got the match from the angle we got on the Raw before WrestleMania. So there was that. We got Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. This went far, far too long. All this needed to be was Jerry Lawler having to deal with I can't think of his name. Dealing with Jack Swagger, and then Jerry Lawler and Steve Austin having to deal with Jack Swagger, and then Michael Cole, and then them getting their hands on Michael Cole, and Michael Cole getting punched. I would almost say that he should have probably also gotten power driven, but other than that, this should have lasted. Match-wise, it started off good, but then it just went way, way too long. And then, of course, after that, then we got that whole long segment with Austin drinking beer and stunning people. That went on too long. I understand people want to see Austin stun people, but he didn't need to stun everybody. That was a little overkill. He could have just, I guess that got rid of everyone else that was at ringside. I don't know. He didn't need to do that. That was just more time killing, in my opinion. But this match was not as good as it. This should have just been a very quick, Michael Cole gets beaten up, yay, and then maybe you could still have even done the stupid ending with the Raw GM, whatever. Then we had Undertaker versus Triple H. Great match, lots of near falls. You even got a shot to the head, which wasn't a shot to the head, but anyways. As Undertaker did get his hand up, but he got fined for it anyways. They did a good job of selling the importance of this match. This match went on for a very long time. The near falls worked. It's funny because, if the very thing that Undertaker and Triple H did here is the very thing that so many people get pissed off that they do on the indies. Now, I agree that on an indie card, they would have done this like 3 or 4 times. Some indies would have. That's not good. You can do a match like this once. And it works, because it worked here. It's worked in Japan for years, where it works. But you could only do it really once on a card. Great match. The ending probably, the stuff after the match went on far too long. Again, you're pressed for time, and you basically have this 5-10 minute segment after where Undertaker's being carried out of the ring. It worked, but it was still eh. Then we had John Morrison, Trish, and Snooki taking out Dolph Ziggler, Layla, and Michelle McCool. Again, this didn't go very long. This was basically here for, everyone kind of hit their spots, though Trish was in the ring for a long time, which I thought was a little odd. I think they could have X'd a lot of that stuff out, but anyways. Snooki did her stuff. She came out as a heel. Then people kind of popped when she did her stuff, and there you go. Then we got The Miz versus John Cena. I have all sorts of problems with this match. The main part being the video packages before the match. Why did we get a Miz video package that should have been on Raw? Because this would have gotten The Miz over more on Raw. And we'll probably never see these video packages ever again. These were saved for a pay-per-view, for people who already bought the pay-per-view, and what this did was these 2 video packages sold this match better than anything that WWE has done, and it was on a freaking pay-per-view. This was stupid. Wherever these were, they should have been on SmackDown, they should have been on Raw. These 2 video packages probably should have closed Raw, all things really considered. These were great, awesome video packages, which I think got people into the match, and then we had the match, and John Cena was definitely not on his game I still think the match was okay. I don't think it was the worst WrestleMania main event ever. Far from that. I don't think this was nearly as bad as Triple H and Orton. Triple H and Orton live, I got up and walked out on. I did not on this match. I actually stayed and enjoyed most of this match live. And just going from that, I can't judge this match worse. Now, of course, we had the crappy booking, and the crappy booking sucked. That's the best you could do to get The Rock out there. You couldn't have had, the referee get knocked out early, and then have Rock come out and say, okay, I'm going to intervene now, I'm going to be the special referee, and then, have it go for 10, 15 minutes, or however long, since you were running short on time, because you did these video packages that, instead of the match. But anyways. And then we got The Rock. Rock bottom, John Cena, cost John Cena the match, which again, was a lot of people turned in to see. So, while I personally didn't like it, and I'm sure all of you probably watching this didn't like it, you have to remember at the same time that this is what people turned out to see. Now, I don't like the way they did it, and like I said, I think that it would have been better for them just to get rid of the referee early, and then have The Rock come out, and then have The Rock, be a referee in the match for a lot longer than what we got, which was a double countout, which was just absolutely stupid for him to come out, then restart the match, and then him rock bottom John Cena, and then do it. I think it would have been better for just to somehow get rid of the referee early, then have The Rock come out. But you had to get The Rock out there for some point. Yeah, I'm sure was this a great WrestleMania? No. Was this a good WrestleMania? You had Undertaker and Triple H. Some of the other matches were at least good, I thought. So I would say this was a good 4-hour pay-per-view. Just barely, though. Just barely, and that's just because of Undertaker and Triple H. Because I think you had far too many video packages. You just saw, this was the weekend where, WWE basically said, we're not a wrestling company anymore. We don't want wrestling associated with us anymore. And it's pretty evident since we got, more video packages, it felt like, and we got all this stuff, which overrode the wrestling on the one show that, they have that actually has wrestling in the title. So, and I understand that, like, Undertaker and Triple H, the entrances, John Cena's entrance, The Miz's entrance, you're going to do these elaborate entrances because it is WrestleMania. But, we only had, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches, and you added an hour, and you still didn't have time to do everything, give everything as much time as it needed. I'm sorry, the video packages are what need to go, not the guys in the ring. And particularly when you needed to get guys over, this was probably the biggest buy rate you've had in years, I would imagine, or at least since, probably the biggest buy rate you've had since, WrestleMania 24, maybe 24. This is probably the biggest buy rate you've had, and these are people who are willing to buy your product. Why wouldn't you go out there and try to get your guys, to showcase your guys a little bit, try to get your guys over more? And that's not what you did. So, but hey, I don't run the WWE, so there we go. But anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on all of that. And for every single person that has bitched and whined about this show and the fact that they spent so much money, or they didn't spend so much money, that this is, that, oh my god, I can't believe I watched this, and the WWE actually wanted us to spend, 60 to however much to buy this pay-per-view, and, TNA charged us however much for their pay-per-views, and you didn't get the 2 Ring of Honor shows. And I got news for you. You've also got, King of Trios just finished today, and Smart Mark is going to have, apparently they announced that sometime tomorrow, after I'm making this vid, the DVDs are going to go on sale. Those 3 DVDs, those 3 shows, should come to about $45. Again, if you're griping so much that you want wrestling, and that you want something different, and that you want this or that or the other, you're going to have to spend money on something else. You're going to have to actually support something else. You can't just come out here and say, this is what I want, this is what I want. Well, if someone's giving you what you want, and you're not willing to spend money on it, It does no good. The WWE's just going to keep on going down the road they're going down, and TNA's going to keep on going down whatever road they're going down. I don't know what road they're going down. But anyways, that's it. I'm out. Have a good one.